This video is the second in the Mod Organizer series. Most information from video 1 will not be repeated here and will assume that you have viewed it, which I suggest you do if you haven't. For the confident and learned, let's get to it. Here we will prep to free up space on the game drive for those who can afford to. Before we begin, know that mods require a lot of storage. Mods are downloaded as archives, and Mod Organizer stores archives to a Downloads folder. All mods stored here are displayed on the interface via the Downloads tab. Once we elect to install a mod, whether from the Downloads tab or the toolbar's Archive option, the archive's contents are unpacked into MO's Mods folder, which are then displayed in the left pane for us to make use of. This leaves us with two versions of the same mod, doubling our storage requirements. While I recommend leaving the mods folder in its default location to assure the fastest read speeds, I also recommend to move the Downloads folder to a separate storage drive to save space. Those with a storage drive, select the Settings icon. Within the General tab, activate the Advanced checkbox. To the right of the download directory, select the ellipsis. Navigate to your storage drive, and in the folder of your choosing, establish the new download directory location. Select folder when you are finished. You can also move the web cache directory if desired. It won't save a lot of space, but it will also not hurt to move it. Just be sure to leave the mod directory where it is, unless you have sound reason to do otherwise. Here we will cover the various ways to download mods from nexusmods.com and the Steam Workshop, as well as the basic installation steps for each. The different pop-up windows during installation will be covered in the following section. nexusmods.com, Download with Manager. Each mod on Nexus has a Files section, which is where mods are downloaded from. The Download with Manager option, if set up properly in the previous video, will download the mod to MO's Downloads folder. The archive will then be displayed in the Downloads tab, which you can double-click to install the mod. Once installed, the mod will appear at the bottom of the left pane, where you can activate it by ticking the checkbox and then drag its position anywhere that you like within your asset load order. Load order will be covered a bit later. Download manually. This option is not only helpful for some, but necessary if Mod Organizer and Nexus are having issues linking to each other. Selecting Download manually will download the mod's archive to your system's default download location. From here, we have two choices. Option 1. Leave the archive where it is. From MO's toolbar, select the Archive option. From the Explorer, navigate to the mod. Double-click it. One of MO's various Install Options windows will open. Install the mod accordingly. I prefer not to use this method as it's easy to lose track of the archive and/or accidentally delete it. Option 2. The preferred manual method. Navigate to where the archive was downloaded to. In a second window, navigate to Mod Organizer's Downloads directory, the default location being in the Mod Organizer folder. Open the Downloads folder. Drag the mod archive in question into it. The archive will now appear in the Downloads tab, just as if you had used the Download with Manager option. This option can be applied to any mod archive on your system, and not just those downloaded from Nexus. A Downloads tab note. If you delete a mod from the Downloads tab, the mod will also be deleted from the Downloads folder and in turn from your system. Deleting mod archives is not advised because many mods, at some point, may no longer exist online, may have had older versions of themselves removed that you need to make your current load order work, or that you simply preferred, and the list goes on. Delete mods with caution, or if you can help it, don't delete them at all unless you are sure that you will never want to use them again. Steam Workshop. The process. From the Steam application, expand Community. Select Workshop. Search for your game. Currently, Skyrim is the only 32-bit Bethesda game with a workshop. Once you come across a mod that you want to install, to do so, you have to subscribe to it. Once subscribed to a mod, run the game launcher from within Mod Organizer. Wait for a synchronization message to appear at the bottom of the menu. Let it complete its process. Once complete, exit the launcher. Scroll to the bottom of the left pane. Open the Overwrite folder. Notice that the Steam files are now located here instead of in the game's data folder, as would be the case if you open the launcher outside of MO. Close Overwrite. Right-click Overwrite. Select Create Mod. Name the mod anything that you wish, preferably the mod's official name so that you know what it is. Select OK. The mod will appear in the left pane. Activate the checkbox and the mod is installed. But we have one more step. In the right pane, open the Archives tab. Scroll down to see if the activated mod is present. If you find it, assure that the BSA checkbox for it is also activated. Without doing so, the mod may not work as intended, if at all. Issues. Issue 1. Launching the game launcher from within MO disables all of my activated plugins. Right-click in the window, select Enable All to fix this. Issue 2. If you run the game launcher after a Steam mod has been updated, the new files will automatically download whether you want them to or expect them to or not. If the Steam mod is activated when the launcher is run, without warning, it will auto-update all of its files, deleting the old ones, which can cause all sorts of issues in a current playthrough. If the Steam mod is not activated, the updated version of the mod will be placed in the Overwrite folder. In this scenario, even though the old files will still exist, issues can still arise. What you need to now know about the Overwrite folder is that everything inside of it is always activated at all times, and because Overwrite acts as a mod that always has highest priority, it will overwrite all matching files in your load order. To avoid this, after you install the mod from Steam, unsubscribe from it so that it cannot auto-update. Doing this may not be appreciated by the mod's author, but it's the only guaranteed way to protect your save file and load order. Different mods in different download methods can cause various windows to pop up during installation. Here we will cover what the windows mean and what to do in each situation. Quick install. This window opens when installing a mod for the first time that appears to be properly packaged for installation. Cancel will cancel the installation. OK is generally what you want to choose. This allows Mod Organizer to seamlessly install the mod. Manual allows you additional installation options, generally used if you are aware that a mod is packaged improperly up front, a folder is missing, or a file is out of place in the mod structure. The window that you are presented with represents the archive's contents exactly how the author packaged them. From here, you can organize files and folders the same way that you would in Windows Explorer by expanding the arrows and dragging and dropping items. If you deactivate a checkbox, none of the files or folders within it will be installed. Useful if a mod is packaged with multiple options. If you receive an error message, no game data on top level, right-click the data folder with the checkbox next to it, or whatever the highest entry is with a checkbox, and select Set Data Directory. The error message should change to a Looks Good message. The other right-click options allow you to undo the set directory and to create a new directory, or rather, a new folder, to organize things into by dragging and dropping items. At any point, select OK to install the mod, or Cancel to cancel the installation. Improperly packaged mods. If installing a mod that MO detects as being packaged improperly, the Install Mods window will appear. This is the same window that opens when selecting the manual option from the Quick Install window. With these mods, you will notice the No Game Data on Top level message. As previously mentioned, right-click the data folder, the one with the checkbox, and select Set Data Directory. The error message should change to a Looks Good message. If it doesn't change, continue right-clicking the top option in each new window, selecting Set Data Directory until it does. Essentially, you want the folders that would usually be stored in the game's data directory to be the ones displayed at the top. Select OK to install. Mod pages with multiple mods and updates. Some mod pages have multiple archives that can be installed. These could be hotfixes, optional file sizes, so on. Also, many mods have updates over time. The important thing to note about this situation is that you have already installed your first mod from a particular page, and now you want to download and install another from it. When installing additional files from the same mod page, you have a few options. At the Quick Install window, select OK. The Mod Exists window will open. From here you can merge, which is generally what I would suggest you do, as this will add all of the contents from the archive being installed to the other mod from the same page that already exists, merging the two mods together as one. If any files are duplicates, generally updates, the files being installed will overwrite the old ones. This also leaves any personal changes that you have made to the mod intact. Think of this as an addition to the mod that already exists. Replace. Generally not recommended unless you have a sound reason to use it. This option will completely delete all files and changes made to the original mod and replace them with only the new archive's contents. Think of this as a clean wipe and install of the mod. Rename will allow you to rename the archive that you are currently installing, which will essentially create two versions of the same mod in the left pane for you to prioritize. And Cancel will simply cancel installation. FOmod Installers. Some mods come with installers, which launch installer windows, to allow you to manually choose options and customize the mod to your liking. Generally, these installers work no differently in Mod Organizer than they do in any other mod manager. Make your choices and install the mod as normal. Load order generally refers to the order in which plugins are loaded into the game. Mod Organizer not only manages load order for plugins, but also for asset files. We aren't going to cover general modding load order principles, there are other guides for that, but rather specifics that pertain exclusively to Mod Organizer. Plugin load order. The plugin load order is displayed in the right pane within the Plugins tab. In general, MO's plugin load order works just like any other mod manager. Load order determines the order in which mods are installed to the game, of which those loaded last have priority, meaning if multiple plugins affect the same files or game processes, those with a higher priority will overwrite the conflicting plugins with lower priority. You can drag and drop items to arrange them. You can right-click in the Plugins tab to enable all visible plugins, disable all, or lock individual plugins in place so that they cannot be moved. The game's official plugins, not the DLC, should always remain in the game's data folder. Mod Organizer will give them the lowest priority, as it should, and they will be grayed out so that you cannot move them. At the top of the Plugins window, you will notice a Sort button. This will access an internal loot master list to sort your mods from. However, the list is generally outdated and you should instead run the loot application itself. Asset load order. This is where things are different. Unlike other mod managers of its time, Mod Organizer allows you to arrange a mod's assets in the left pane, just as you would do for plugins in the right pane. This allows asset files with higher priority to overwrite ones with lower priority, but without replacing them as other mod managers would do. This means that you can arrange plugins in one order, but then arrange asset files differently to assure that the textures, meshes, and other files that you want to appear in-game do so. It also allows you the ability to test the textures out in-game without having to reinstall them each time. Either move their priority or deactivate the checkbox without moving their priority, and after testing, reactivate it. Overwrite. One of the most useful, unusual, and troublesome features of the asset load order is the overwrite. Some call it the Overwrite mod because it does in fact act like a mod. It has the highest priority of all mods that are installed and acts as such. Others call it the Overwrite folder because it also acts as an import dumping folder for all applications that are run through MO. To not confuse anyone, we are going to call it the Overwrite mod folder, and we'll only touch upon it briefly. If you run a program through Mod Organizer, such as rybash to create a bashed patch, xedit to create a merged patch, the creation kit to create a new mod, or a mod itself that requires a patch to be created for it, such as dindulod, finis, any xedit lodgen, and more. Once each process has been completed, the output of the application run through MO will appear in the Overwrite mod folder. You will then have to right-click Overwrite as done previously, select Create New Mod, and continue on. You can also open Overwrite and drag and drop any files inside of it to a mod that already exists in the Assets Load Order window. I will cover third-party applications in depth later on in the series. For now, with all of the given information, know that it is important to keep the Overwrite mod folder empty at all times so to not unintentionally overwrite other files in your load order and to not accidentally delete something in Overwrite that a current save file needs to function. Always create new mod or drag and drop the files to an already existing mod as shown. If there is anything in the Overwrite mod folder, the warning yield icon at the top right of the interface will light up. Selecting it will present you with a problems window informing you that there are files in your Overwrite mod. The Archives tab is important to keep up with. If a mod contains a BSA file, a Bethesda archive, that contains all of the mod's asset files, it will be placed here under the mod's name. Have MO manage archives. When this checkbox is activated, all of the BSAs will be treated as loose files. This means that their load order priority will depend on the asset load order pane and not the plugin load order pane. If you deactivate the checkbox, then BSAs will depend on the plugin load order. Any mods that require dummy ESPs to function will have to be activated, taking plugin slots away from you. The only time that I would suggest to deactivate this checkbox is when running a patch generator from a mod that informs you to do so, and then reactivating the checkbox after the patch has been made. LodGen mods usually need you to temporarily deactivate this. Invalidation.bsa. During the installation and setup video, we activated Archive Invalidation for each game. The Invalidation.bsa corresponds with what we did there. Assure that the Invalidation.bsa is both activated and holding the highest spot in the window. Otherwise, many mods may not function properly, if at all. Other than that, be sure to activate every single checkbox in this window. Checkboxes that are not activated will leave the mods that they are under without their asset files, basically rendering the mod useless. The Mod Information window offers not only information about the mod, but also provides some of the most useful features that MO has to offer. To open the information window in the left pane, either double-click a mod or right-click the mod and select information. I recommend to anyone who is attempting to get the most out of MO to watch this entire section. Text files. In the left pane lists all of the .txt text files that are in the mods directory, such as readmes. From the right pane, you can read the selected document as well as add, remove, and save any information that you care to type. Be sure to actually select Save. Ini files. Lists every ini file located in the mods directory. This includes game ini file tweaks, as well as any script extender ini files and the like. These tweaks will override your default ini file settings values, but only when the mod is activated, allowing for specific tweaks to only be implemented on a mod-to-mod basis. You can alter them in the right pane and then save the changes. You can also create your own by right-clicking in the ini tweaks window. You can even create multiple tweak files that you can switch on and off by activating the checkboxes next to them. Images. Displays any image files that are packed with the mod. Optional ESPs. This tab offers the ability to hide or reveal an ESP or ESM file that is packed with the mod. This is beneficial for mods that contain many optional plugins that you may want to use one day but are currently deactivated, taking up plugin space. It allows you to hide dummy plugins, as some mods come with ESPs specifically to activate BSA files, which MO will do automatically to save on plugin space. It allows for merged plugins to be hidden. It allows for patched mods that have identical plugins to hide the original but still keep it readily on hand in case you remove a patch and need the original plugin reinstated. To hide or reveal a plugin, simply highlight it in either the Optional ESPs Hidden window or in the Available ESPs Load Order Present window and select the up and down arrows to move them. Conflicts. This tab will show you each and every file within the mod that is being overwritten by another and that this mod is overwriting elsewhere. Information as to how many conflicts the current mod is generating, how many conflicts the other mods are providing to this one, and how many non-conflicted files is provided. In the top window, if the current mod is overwriting a file from another mod and you don't want it to, you can right-click a file, select Hide, and the file will be hidden and it will no longer provide a conflict. Very helpful for those who are really trying to manipulate what textures they want present in game. We will cover how to unhide a file in the Filetree tab. Categories. Allows you to change the mod category that is displayed in the category column. Notes. Allows you to write down any notes that you may need to remember for the mod. A notepad icon will then be generated in the flags column. Nexus Info. Will show you all of the text that is displayed on the mod's description page on Nexus. The tab also displays the mod's meta information, the mod ID and version number, both of which can be edited manually if desired. Filetree. Displays all of the mod's contents, including files that are hidden and the MO-generated metadata. You can edit the file tree the same as you would from Windows Explorer, except that you cannot create text files from the window, only new folders. You can even open files from here, extremely useful if you are someone who edits textures and has the proper plugins on your system, as well as to rename, delete, or hide them. If a file has been hidden, you can search through the file tree until you find the appended extension .mo hidden. Right-click the file, select Unhide, and the file will be reinstated into the game, overwriting any conflicting mod with lower priority. Meta information is mod info that MO has queried Nexus for to use for various reasons, mainly to inform you about mod updates. If you aren't concerned with mod update notifications via Mod Organizer, as you can simply track the mod on Nexus, then you can skip this section. Missing meta info will not have any effect on your game whatsoever. Double-click the mod. Open the Nexus tab. Here you will see the meta information: mod name, mod version number, mod ID. If meta information has not been collected for a mod, a warning yield icon in the Downloads tab in front of the mod's name will appear. To attempt to retrieve this, in the Downloads tab, right-click the downloaded file. Select Query Info. If a select window opens, you have to select the correct Nexus ID option for the mod. This ID corresponds with the final numbers of a mod's page URL. If the correct option isn't provided, select Cancel. If a window opens asking you to please enter mod ID, simply open the mod page to verify what it is and type it in. Again, the ID corresponds with the final numbers of the mod's page URL. If a window opens asking you to select the correct file from the mod page, being that many mods provide more than a single download, select the appropriate file from the list. In the end, meta information can fail even after following all of these steps. Reasons for this can be that the mod author has not assigned a version number to the mod's file download page has more than 30 options to download from, and your option was not detected from the first 30, or the file itself is not a Nexus Mods mod and has been downloaded from a different website. This section may be helpful for some, but not for others. If you're going to skip this section, at least take note of the very quick Open in Explorer option. To open the context menu, right-click a mod. All mods. Opens a secondary context menu where each option will affect each and every mod. Install Mod is the same as selecting the archive icon from the toolbar. This opens the Explorer to allow you to install mods that aren't visible in the Downloads tab. Enable All Visible will activate every checkbox in the left pane. Disable All Visible will deactivate every checkbox in the left pane. Check All for Update. Queries Nexus for mod metadata to check for updates in endorsement status. Refresh. Refreshes MO. Export to CSV. Exports your mod list to a CSV file which can be opened in an Excel program. Mod-specific options. This section will cover the context menu when right-clicking specific mods. Add, remove categories. Opens a drop-down to allow you to add the mod in question to a specific mod category. Replace categories. Opens a drop-down to allow you to replace the current mod category with a different one. Primary category. Sets the single primary category that will be displayed on MO's main interface. Change versioning scheme. Some authors add words or letters to their mod versions on Nexus, and MO will detect this as an error. Clicking this option will approve the mod version and remove the warning. Ignore update. Ignores a mod's update warning, removing the icon until another update to the mod is made. Rename mod. Allows you to rename the mod. You can also rename the mod by clicking on it a single time to highlight it, and then single-clicking on it again. You can also push F2. Remove mod. Completely removes the mod from your load order. If you don't have the archive stored in the Downloads folder, you will need to re-download the mod to get it back. Reinstall Mod. Deletes the current mod settings and reinstalls it as if you downloaded it for the first time. For this option to work, the original archive has to be in MO's Downloads folder. If you no longer have the archive, you will be notified. Endorse, Un-Endorse. Allows you to adjust the endorsement of the mod the same as you can on the mod page itself. Won't endorse. Removes the not endorsed heart with a question mark flag for the chosen mod. Ignore missing data. Removes the missing data red X flag to allow you to ignore that the mod is missing information. Visit on Nexus. Opens the mod's Nexus page as long as the meta information for the mod is had. Open in Explorer. Opens the mod's Mod Organizer mods folder in the Explorer. I use this often when following mod guides. This quickly allows you to edit specific ini files if mods have them, as well as anything else that you want to remove or add to the mod. As with the context menu information, this section may be helpful for some, but not for others. If you'd like to skip this section, at least take note of the flags and priority columns unless you are familiar with them. The column bar hosts each column. Right-clicking the bar will open a context menu. Deactivating any of the checkboxes will remove the respective column from the interface to clean up information that you don't care to see. Mod name is the name of each mod that's installed. Remember that you may have chosen to give a mod a different name than the original. Clicking the mod name header will sort your mods alphabetically for browsing purposes. The checkboxes. Mods installed via Mod Organizer have a checkbox. You can activate and deactivate mods from here without completely removing them. Mods installed to the game's data folder that MO detects, the official game content, do not have a checkbox and they're always activated. Regular plugins installed to the data folder may have a checkbox. Flags. Flags are icons that inform you of conflicts, endorsement status, and/or potential issues. Lightning bolts. The green plus signs indicate that the mod is overwriting another. The red minus sign indicates that the mod is being overwritten by another. Both a plus and minus sign indicates that the mod is both overwriting another mod and is also being overwritten itself. The white lightning bolt indicates that the mod is being totally overwritten and is serving no purpose. Generally, these mods can be deleted unless you think that you may remove the mods that are overwriting them. The red X indicates that the mod doesn't contain any data recognizable to MO. In addition to the red X, the name will be grayed out and italicized. If you are certain that you want to keep this mod, despite MO telling you that it is unusable, which there may be rare cases that you do, you can right-click the mod and select Ignore Missing Data to remove the flag. The heart with a question mark indicates that the mod has not been endorsed. The Notepad flag indicates that you have added personal notes to the mod. The content column informs you of what each mod is comprised of via icons. The puzzle icon indicates that a mod contains a plugin. The tool icon indicates that the mod contains non-plugin scripts. The treasure chest indicates that the mod contains a BSA file. The checkerboard indicates that the mod contains texture files. Tournament brackets indicates that the mod is a script extender plugin. The armor icon indicates that the mod contains mesh files. The harp icon indicates that the mod contains sound files. The hand icon with a circle around it indicates that the mod affects a game's interface. And the God's Hand icon indicates that the mod contains or is based on a Skyproc patcher. The category column. If your mods have category tags, you can click the category column's header to sort your mods by category for browsing purposes. Nexus IDs displays the Nexus ID for each mod. Sorting by this column will allow you to see what mods are oldest, lower numbers being older mods. If the mod installed is not from Nexus, the ID will be set to 0. Version indicates the mod version. If the number is green, then you have the newest version available. If the number is red, then you don't. However, this can be misleading as some mods use older files as their main file. A yield sign indicates that the version you have is numerically higher than what MO is detecting as the latest mod version on Nexus, and the calendar icon is used when you install a mod that is not from Nexus. The installation column lists the date and time that you personally installed the mod to Mod Organizer. And the priority column, which is probably the most important column, as it indicates the priority in which mods are loaded into the game. When done looking through the columns, make sure to sort your mods by the priority column, lowest to highest, so that you see your actual load order. None of the available installer plugins were able to handle that archive. If you receive this error message, the archive that you are trying to install is most likely corrupt. Many times, simply re-downloading the mod and trying to install it again will fix this. If it doesn't, you may need to repack the mod into a new archive, removing any information within that is unnecessary, such as FOmod Installers, or to simply omit the mod from your load order. Download with Manager doesn't work. Assure that you have linked MO with Nexus mods. Watch the installation and setup video to see how. Follow each step within. Go into the Mod Organizer directory. Locate the nxmhandler.exe. Double-click it to launch it. Make sure that the supported game is pointing to the appropriate Mod Organizer executable. If it already is, highlight it and select Register Active. At the Change Handle Registration window, select Yes. If the game is not pointing to the proper executable, or if the game isn't showing up at all, right-click within the NXM window. Select Add. From the Select Supported Games window, select the game that this version of Mod Organizer is being used for. In the Binary window, select the ellipsis. Browse to the Mod Organizer exe that is being used for this game. If following our guides, it will be located within the Games folder and then within the Mod Organizer folder. Double-click the exe. Back on the dialog window, select OK. Select Register Active, select Yes, select Close. Finally, if none of this has helped, open the Settings window. Open Workarounds, change the NMM version to correspond with the current Nexus Mod Manager version. You can find the version number on Nexus or at the top of Nexus Mod Manager itself if the version that you have is up to date. Currently, even having an old version number allows the Download with Manager option to work for me. Changing the number may or may not solve the issue, but it has in the past, as suggested by Tannen himself. Cannot arrange mods. At the bottom center of the interface, you will see a drop-down. Make sure that the No Groups option is selected. The other options will not allow you to rearrange your mods. This has been a GamerPoets tutorial, Mod Organizer, Mod Downloading and Management. If any of you have found that this tutorial was too fast, a text version can be found on nexusmods.com, which is linked in the description. It will be created as time allows. There will be a couple more videos in this series covering the toolbar, all of the options within each icon, including how to install and use third-party applications, such as script extenders, load order optimizers, and patch generators, as well as how to customize different features of the interface to suit your preferences. Again, a huge thank you to Tannen for creating and maintaining Mod Organizer for so long, to the Step Wiki for all that they have taught me, to you folks for spending so much time with me over the years, making the hundreds of hours that I pour into these tutorials worth it, and for just being motivational and encouraging in general. And that's the show. As always, I am Michael of GamerPoets. Thank you for watching.